Twisted Travelers Podcast, your weekly dose of theme park news and entertainment. And now, here to talk all things coasters, theme parks, and even more, here are your hosts, Jack Lathrop and Chris Jones.
Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of the Twisted Travelers Podcast. As always, I am Jack, and I am joined by my lovely co-host Chris. How are you doing tonight?
We're doing the lovely thing again?
We're doing the lovely thing again. I'm going to pester you because I can.
That's fine. I am here. What's up? Going good. Got some news right of the week, and then a special second half of the show with our awards.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's going to be fun. We did awards last year when we did like our test episodes, and we had a ton of fun with them. So tonight we opened it up to my Instagram followers, like, hey, submit some award IDs and we'll do them. And then we threw our own ones in that we want to talk about. So that's coming up in the second half of the show. But first, we need to talk about some karma.
You stole that from me, but okay.
It was a good idea. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, yeah, so what we're talking about is the New York coaster derailing today. That very odd, but I basically texted Jack and said, this is karma for putting comfort collars on your trains, or at least that's how I see it. So, you know.
Yeah. So I'm sitting at dinner with some friends tonight, and I see this come through, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So this is obviously not a good thing. We do know that no one was hurt, and that the ride does not appear to have suffered much damage, sadly. But I want to take a minute and talk about I think there are three ways this goes, and I want to hear what you think about it.
Okay.
So first way it goes, the ride is going to sit as standing but not operating for a number of time and eventually be torn down, and either there will never be anything built there again or they will build a new ride. Number two, they take off the new trains and they put the old ones back on. Or number three, they figure out what went wrong with the Premier trains and run them. Those are the three possibilities, and there's a ton of subcategories that go with each of those, but those are like the three overarching ones, I think.
So I am going to go with option one, that it goes standing when not operating and eventually torn down. Jack, did you see the angle directly looking up the lift?
Yeah. Like I said, sadly, it didn't just fall over.
You saw how the catwalk was literally bent sideways and it was kind of leaning.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when a multi-ton train falls on the catwalk.
Yeah, so I don't see New York spending the money to either A, get new trains, or B, use the old ones, but also fix that. Also potentially get new chain anti-rollbacks, all that, because good chance that stuff's damaged, right? I don't see them spending the money to do that. I don't know if it's ever going to run again.
And honestly, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm not too sad. I mean, would have been nice to get the credit, but whatever. We all know it's not a very good ride, so.
Yeah, looking at the picture, it looks like literally the wheel bogey just like snapped and gave way, which makes you wonder if the trains could even like take this. So here's what I say. They tear it out, and we get a Vekoma Bermuda Blitz on top of New York.
That'd be nice. I fully support that idea.
And that was my immediate reaction. I was like, ooh, what if they got a Vekoma Bermuda Blitz? Here's the one thing I know is for sure not happening. Whatever they put in, it's not going to be a premiere. Because after something like this happens, I don't think their relationship is going to survive. But that's just me.
I think people who listen to the show know that we're not the biggest fans of Premiere at this point. And they deserve that, honestly.
Okay, we're not the biggest fans of 2000s and beyond Premiere. 90s
Mummy.
Premiere was the stuff. Like Mummy and Flight of Fear, yes, please. But anything after 2000...
And Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze. Don't forget Mr. Freeze. Yeah. Anything
That's
before
good.
2000, fantastic. Anything after 2000, hot garbage. Except for maybe
Ooh,
Skyrocket.
you know what New York should do? They should what was it called? The other premiere, or the premiere that was in Vegas, the launch one. Was it at NASCAR Cafe? They should buy that.
That was a premiere, and that was a good premiere. I'm
Yeah.
assuming it was a good premiere. It was a shuttle loop. That would be interesting. That would be the ultimate slap in the face. It's like, hey, you know that roller coaster you tore out? Well, we're putting it right back
Speed
in
the
across
ride.
street.
Speed the Ride, that's what it was called. 70-mile-per-hour shuttle launch coaster.
That
Early
sounds
premiere,
awesome.
yes.
That
Put it
sounds-
back. Put that back.
Like if that happens, I'll be so happy. I don't think that's what will happen. It's gonna be interesting to watch this play out, I think. So yeah. New York,
Yes,
New York.
options, none of them good ones.
One of them's a good one if it gets torn down.
Well, yeah.
So the next thing, though, on a much better set of news, we talked about it, was it last week. We talked about Aquaman at Six Flags Over Texas being delayed till 2022. Well, we have a reason now.
Supposedly.
Supposedly, this was posted on Reddit as where we get most of our news. So again, take it with a grain of salt, but it seems pretty legit if you ask me. There doesn't seem to be much objection to it. Yeah.
So somebody claimed to have been speaking to a higher up at Over Texas, and they said that it's been delayed because they're actually adding on a turntable, like Pulsar at Wallaby Belgium has. And if this is true, this is very, very good news and completely a worthy reason for them to delay it till 2022. I mean, the capacity will be so much better. You won't have to wait an hour probably anymore. So I like it. I like that a lot.
Yeah, the fact that we're getting better capacity on a ride that was already, it was not going to have great capacity. It probably still won't have the world's greatest capacity, but to double it, it's going to help a lot. I'm excited to ride this ride. Yeah, it's going to be good. So
Yeah,
guess-
for sure. I mean, this is probably one of the better decisions, if this is true, that Six Flags has made in a while, really.
yeah, Six Flags actually doing something decent. Anyway. Yeah, so that's good news.
For sure. Okay, so next up we have a new addition announced to Dino's Wonder Wheel in New York, and that is Phoenix has been announced. It is a Vekoma suspended family coaster. There's no date or no year for opening yet, but it has been announced. This is very good. I mean, something that's not a Zamperla right there at Coney Island. Another credit to get. And we've both ridden Dragonflyer, and Dragonflyer is very good. So this will probably be similar.
Yeah, it's... I want to look at this. Is it a...
I don't think it's a clone. Or I don't think it's the same as Dragonflyer, at least.
No, it's definitely not. I was looking to see if it was an SFC or an STC, because
It's an SFC.
yes, but it's definitely a custom layout based off the pictures we've seen. Almost more reminiscent of a modernized Woodstock Express. Flying Ace aerial chase is almost more of what it's giving me vibes of. Much more twister compact layout than the kind of out and back layout that Dragonflyer has. So
Yeah, I'm with you, which, that's still fine. It's going to be good.
oh yeah, I'm looking at that bank turn, like that kind of goes back under the lift, almost looks like a Stangle dive. That thing right there. I want
Yeah,
that.
that looks good.
Yeah, that looks good. So, yeah, that's gonna be exciting. But the new announcement I'm excited about this one. I'm losing my mind about this one. Fuji Q is building an observation tower on Fujiyama.
There's a
Yes.
slide. There's a slide that
And
goes down.
in the giant slide. I did not know I needed this in my life, but I want to go to Fuji-Q so bad now.
We're gonna go. I mean,
I mean,
Edge
we're
is
gonna.
already there.
Yeah, Edge of Night is already there, but like, come on, this observation tower is gonna be nuts for taking pictures on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as excited as you because it's an observation tower, and you're photographer, so obviously you're gonna get really hyped about it. But I mean, sounds cool. Good views of Mount Fuji. Good views of obviously Fujiyama. You're literally in the middle of the layout. Like you're right on that turn. The train's gonna be going right around you. Views of Ejinaika, views of Dodonpa, views of
Mm-hmm.
Takabisha. So this is a
That
great addition.
that is why I'm so excited about, because one of my favorite things about going to like Kings Island and Kings Dominion is going up on the tower and being able to shoot down on all the roller coasters. This is gonna be the same thing in Japan, except it's not gonna be in the middle of the park. It's gonna be right next to one of their biggest roller coasters, and by right next I
I
mean
mean,
on it.
think about the such you can get crazy pictures of Mount Fuji as like the backdrop now.
Oh, it's gonna be insane. You're gonna be able to shoot the drop. You're gonna be able to shoot the. I mean, just imagine you're gonna be able to shoot the train. It's gonna be right there, and you'll have Mount Fuji in the background. All I'm saying, we better go on a day where you can actually see Mount Fuji. Like I want,
I have a feeling we're gonna end up spending 2 days there with how bad the operations are apparently.
if not more. If we're going, I am riding Ijunaika
And
until
buying
like
lots of Asianica fast passes. Like my
until
bank
I
account will go
literally
dry.
until I literally cannot walk anymore. We will be riding Ijunaika. So
That's gonna be a
super
good day.
excited about this. Like super excited about this.
Yeah,
So
very good addition,
next,
honestly.
yep, and we're gonna finish off this week's semi-short news talking about the ride we talk about all too often. And no, I am not talking about Lightning Rod. We're gonna get to that later. We're
Or
talking about Conda
Velocicoaster.
at Wall or Velocicoaster. We're talking about Conda at Wallaby, Belgium, which is testing.
Initial test runs, they do look slow, just like Velocicoasters did, but it's December.
It's
Like,
December. It's running without water dummies, if I saw that correct, in some of them.
yeah, it's still gonna be ridiculous. Even if it ran as slow as it is right now, it would still be insane in the back row. I mean, that drop.
Oh, the back is where it's going to be at on this coaster, I think. But yeah, pacing right now, the video, and we're one of the later people that are going to cover this, so you've heard it all. Of course, it doesn't run that fast. It's literally some of the very first test runs of it. So, I mean, we all
Yeah,
remember Velocicoasters run slow and fast and slow and fast. It's the same thing.
I mean, Iron Gwazi's POV is way slower than some of the off-ride video we've seen. Like, they can change so much.
Well, I'm pretty sure that video was taken in like March. So,
Oh yeah, but then even like the testing footage from March, from off-ride, if you go watch, like once it got warmed up, it was flying.
yeah, and it's the same thing with Dollywood coasters like Thunderhead towards the end of the season. It's cooking. It's like it right now. It's really good. That gets into Dollywood stuff, which we're not going to go too much into this week because I'm going to torture y'all in like 2 weeks. So,
Okay, well, that was news.
yep.
Now we have ride of the week. So we are doing Aero Mine trains. Last week we did Roadrunner Express at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. So our three options for this week are Thunderation at Silver Dollar City, Adventure Express at Kings Island, and Carolina Gold Rusher at Carowinds. The wheel is ready.
I say we spin it.
I will start spinning right now. And
So these are
this
all three
week's
really good.
option is Adventure Express.
Ooh, it's a good
You can go
one.
first.
Okay, hot take. This is probably the second or third best night ride at Kings Island. I said it. You all can fight me.
Whatever.
Hey, you haven't ridden any other coasters at night, so
It's a mine train, Jack.
Dad, back me up. My dad is live listening to us record tonight. He's gonna back me up on how good of a night ride this thing is. So yeah, basically, this is one of those great rides that the whole ride is downhill until the end. So there's not a lift hill at the beginning. You just get right into it. Yeah, it's great. Great laterals. There's not much airtime, but yeah, it's a ton of fun. Like I said, great night ride. Still runs relatively smooth for being, what is this thing, 26, 27 years old now, if not older. I want to say it was 96. Oh, 91, almost 30 years old. Wow. Yeah, great ride for being almost 30 years old. Still one of my favorites. Still, if it doesn't have like an awful wait, it's still a must ride for me. So, I love Adventure Express a lot.
Okay, my turn. Adventure Express, it's good. It's not my favorite mine train. It's a good mine train. It's one of the best ones. But it's not on the level of Thunderation or Big Thunder or Fiesta Texas Roadrunner Express. It is pretty tame, but the lift hill, the location, the theming on the lift, it all makes it better than your average mine train. So I enjoy it. I mean, the layout, not crazy, nothing special, but it is very fun thanks to the theming and the location. So I think it's my fourth or fifth favorite. I think it's my fifth favorite Aero Mine train because there's some stiff competition, and I like it. But it's not as good as Thunderation or Big Thunder or Roadrunner. Like it's a tier down.
I'll agree with it not being as good as Thunderation, but everything else I have to disagree with. There's something about this ride that I just love. It's
because you're a Kings Island fanboy.
I am not a Kings Island fanboy. You know I roast that place just as much as the others. Did you not listen to the Drunk Riders this week?
You pretend not to be when deep down you are.
I am not a Kings Island fanboy.
Yes.
I am not.
Yes.
We literally did a whole episode where we roasted Orion. And I'm on Team Marcus. It's like, is it a Giga? Is it really a Giga?
There are certain things. Like, you're like half and half, I think.
I am not a true Kings Island fanboy.
You're not the weirdo side that, like, obsesses over night rides on Beast every single weekend? Or, like,
No,
is like Laurent Knob out loud over and over and over again?
Like, here's the thing, people. You enjoy your last driving nights on Beast. I'll be over here riding Flight of Fear with the lights on. Like
you definitely have some bias towards Kings Island.
Oh yeah, it's my second home park, so of course
that's what I'm trying to say.
Towards it. But yeah, but back to Adventure Express. It's got the janky aeroness. It's got a good night ride. Yeah, I love it. So
yeah, it's pretty good. It's good. I like it.
Okay, well, with that ride of the week, we've got two more left. We're going to do either Thunderation or Carolina Gold Rusher next week, and whatever's left will be the week after. But now, it is time for the 2020 edition of the Twisted Traveler Awards.
Yes, I'm excited. You're excited. We've got questions from the viewers, our awards ideas from the viewers/listeners. Oh man, I can't speak. And then we have some of our own as well. So I'm excited.
Yeah, so let's run real quick. Let's kind of talk about what these are and how we're doing them. So what they are is they're us like, oh, we want to talk about some of the things we really liked this year or in the industry in general. And we're picking a winner for each category. Some of them we might agree on. Some of them we are going to disagree on. We're going to try our best to just pick one for each. But there's a couple of these where I know we're going to disagree. So there will be two winners.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off. Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
One last thing. We're going to try, or for the most part, we are going to stick to only rides that we have ridden. But some of these, if it's like really obvious, or we both agree that this probably is the best, we will give it like an honorable mention.
Yeah, or I think for one of these, I'm I really just want to declare it the all-out winner. But I haven't written it, but I already
Yeah,
want to just declare it the
we're
all-out
probably
winner.
talking about the same one.
So we're gonna start off with the ones you guys submitted. I opened up a questions on my Instagram story today and say, hey, we're recording at 9:30. Get your award ideas in, and we will do them on the show, whether they're good, bad, or ugly. I'm gonna refresh that one more time, and we have no new entries. So we're gonna start off with best shore / seaside roller coaster. This was sent in by New Jersey Coasters. So he sent in. He also suggested the winner. He said Gale Force. I have not ridden it. Chris has not ridden it.
Yep.
So, what do you? Okay, have you ridden the Seaside Coaster? We were talking about this briefly
Yes,
before.
yes, I have.
Okay, which one is it for you?
So my winner is Swamp Fox at Family Kingdom in Myrtle Beach, which is solid ride with buzz bars, some good airtime.
Yep.
It is a
So-
little on the rougher side, but it's pretty good.
Yep. So, and then mine would have to go to Giant Dipper at Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. It's the quintessential boardwalk coaster. I mean, there's not much more iconic than that ride. However, there is another ride that neither of us have ridden that I think wins this category, and that is
Yep.
Boardwalk Bullet.
I mean, with how everybody's talking about it this year, it's got to be. There's no way it's not.
It's a gravity group on less than an acre of land. It's just so insane. This year I've watched the POV so much, and I've got to
Same.
go ride this. So
Same.
I think we're going to give this one to Boardwalk Bullet, which just looks like a phenomenal ride. I really want it to open in February. It's like someone drive me to Camo so I can ride Boardwalk Bullet, please. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it has to be the
Sure.
winner. Like, there's no way it's not.
it's just so easy to give it to that one. So Boardwalk Bullet wins best shore / seaside roller coaster. So next up, this question, it was submitted. I know what answer they want. We're gonna find a loophole in it. Chris has already pointed out a loophole in it, so we're gonna try to exploit it to prove you wrong. This comes from Steams and Thrills. Best coaster that didn't open as and when expected and closed halfway through that year. So he's trying to get us to say Lightning Rod. But we're going to split this up into two questions, and we're going to say Iron Gwazi.
Yeah. I mean, if you're saying best coaster that didn't open as expected, it's Iron Gwazi. 100%. You could argue Pantheon, but I think you and me both agree that it's Iron Gwazi.
Now, and it closed halfway through the year. I mean, Lightning Rod just closes halfway through the year all the time, so I don't really know if it's unexpected at this point. So, I am going to propose Son of Beast as the winner of this closing halfway through the year.
What? What are you talking about? Jack.
I mean, I don't want Lightning Rod to win this one because it's going to
This
win
is
plenty
wait.
of other crap.
I'm sure we can think of it. Okay, here I got it. Since this is supposed to be 2020, we are going with Big Apple Coaster. It closed halfway through the year, pretty much, for new trains, and then just didn't reopen because it
Winner.
derailed. So there you go.
That one wins. Oh, and wait, no, that one just wins overall because it's not going to open as expected either. Oh my, yeah, that one wins.
There we go. We found the loophole.
Big Apple Coaster, New York, New York. Oh.
Ooh, that's okay.
My dad just threw out an idea. Steel Curtain, rip me.
Okay, so I think we have to go with Steel Curtain as the winner for didn't open as expected, but Big Apple
And it
Coaster
did
for
close-
closed halfway through the year.
Yeah, so we're going to go with, Steel Curtain and Big Apple Coaster. Those are your winners for this category. Yeah,
Okay, next up.
that
From-
one was too much fun.
from Crazanity Coasters, we have Best Hypercoaster. I
Okay.
think we can both agree on this one. I'm putting it
Yeah,
down. Do you agree?
Let's clarify what we say when we mean hypercoaster. We're talking 200 to 299 feet tall. We're not going crazy with the definition. We're going with what you would consider a hypercoaster, and that is the one, the only Skyrush.
Yes, it's Skyrush. Skyrush. No, no. You are... Okay, hold on.
I
Do
can
you
hear-
actually think Diamondback is better than Skyrush? If you say yes, I'm...
And in 3, 2.
There's...
Oh, come on, Dad. Don't fail me.
Thank you.
Oh. Okay.
Thank you.
You're allowed to live, Dad. Yeah, Skyrush wins. That drop alone. Spoiler, well, by the time this comes out, it won't be spoiler alert, but Skyrush is my number 3, so 25 days of rollers. Tomorrow is Skyrush Day. Woohoo!
I'm keeping mine exclusive. You'll see where it is soon enough.
I know where it is, too, so don't... Yeah.
You do. I'm talking to the listeners.
I mean, by the time we do that episode, my whole top 25 is just going to be public on Twitter, so it's not going to be much of a surprise to people, but it will
Yeah.
still be fun.
I mean, we'll
So-
do some honorable mentions, so they'll get a little bonus.
Yeah, we're going to do some honorable mentions. Yeah. So, next up, this one also comes from Crazanity Coasters. Best wooden roller coaster. It's Lightning Rod, people. What did you
Yeah,
expect us to
we
say?
tried to avoid saying it earlier. We really can't hear. Lightning Rod is the winner. I'd say Voyage is 2.
Yeah, Voyage is number 2. I was going to say, the only way we can get around this is if we start redefining what a wood coaster is, which technically after this year, I think you could make an argument that Lightning Rod's going to be not a wood, not a steel. I'm personally just going to call it a hybrid from here on out.
Yeah, I can agree
But-
with that.
We're going to call it since we have both only ridden it as of right now with wooden track, we're calling it the best wooden roller coaster. Honorable mention goes to the Voyage, though.
Yes. Our next award is for Best Defunct Coaster. This is from Trent World. Jack, I'm going to let you say yours, and we'll see if it's the same.
I see you typed yours. You say yours. I want to think about this for a minute.
Okay. So my answer is Dueling Dragons. There's not many for me to pick from. There's really this Vortex Firehawk, and there's probably a couple others that I'm not thinking of. I never got to ride Dueling Dragons while dueling, but B&M Invert is going to beat Vortex and Firehawk by itself any day, really. So that's my pick.
Yeah. This is the obvious answer, and I think I've said this is my answer before, but I'm trying to think if there's anything different I could say.
Neither of us got to ride Volcano, so
No, neither of us did Volcano.
we went the year it closed and didn't get to ride it.
I am seriously trying to think if there's anything else I've ridden that has closed. There's only a couple rides I've just flat out pilgrimaged to ride before they closed. One of them was Mean Streak. No. Yeah, it's gotta go to Dueling Dragons. I can't find any. I can't think of another ride that would top
Yeah.
that one. So
I can't either. Yeah, it's Dueling Dragons.
it's just
Easy
it's,
winner.
That's the obvious. It's the obvious.
Unanimous
answer.
decision.
Yep.
Okay. This is also from Trent World, and this is Park with Best COVID Procedures.
This is.
You can
this
type
is-
your answer.
This is the 2020 question right here. I think we both have the same one.
Well, I just put mine down, so
Yeah.
it is.
I gotta agree with Chris on this one too. I'll let you say it.
Okay, so the award for Park with Best COVID Procedures goes to Universal Orlando and Islands of Adventure. I mean, they really haven't done anything wrong, so you've got that.
Yeah, when we were there, that was probably I will say this about in general. I work at a grocery store. I felt safer at parks all year long than I have going to work. But the safest I have felt at a park was at Universal. So,
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everybody follows procedures. There's good social distancing, hand sanitizer before every ride. I mean, they're good.
Yeah, Universal takes this one. I'll give an honorable mention to Six Flags St. Louis. I felt that, and I'm giving them the honorable mention because of how amazing their screening process was to get into the park.
Hmm.
Because it was the Six Flags screening process and getting into the park was by far the simplest and most effective. And if you ask me, and it also required the least amount of work. It also helps that the day we went was one of the, if I had to guess, one of the slowest days of the year at that park, so there were very little people there.
Yeah.
So, okay, this next one. This coaster, this question was submitted by Andrew Likes Coasters, which, Andrew, can't wait to meet you in like a week and a half. Most controversial top 25. So this question I think could be answered multiple ways, like who has the most overall controversial top 25, and which I'm going to say probably me, let's be honest, because Steel
Yep.
Vengeance isn't in it. But we're going to choose to answer it as the coaster we have in our top 25 that is the most controversial pick
Or placement of it.
or placement of that ride. So, Chris, yours is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Although there are more people starting to agree with you. So,
Yeah, because everybody's actually going there and realizing I'm right. And that's having Time Traveler as my number one because it's absolutely ridiculous. Um, that has to be it. I mean, like, I have some other hot takes about rides being higher than maybe they should be, but they're not in my top 25. They're like right outside of it, the ones that I'm thinking of, but Time Traveler being number one has to be it for me.
okay, yeah. So mine, minus the fact that I have I have Time Traveler in my top 10. It's an amazing ride. It's not my favorite of all time. I think probably the most controversial ride or most controversial placement of a ride is that I have Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike
Yep.
Adventure at number 12.
That's the
The,
one that I was thinking for you too.
it's and this is such a ride. This is a ride that I am. It gets that high more because I'm emotionally attached to it, and I mean, like, it's not like it is by no means the greatest roller coaster ever built. But like, if you strip the theming away, the roller coaster would probably not even crack my top 100. But the
Oh yeah.
theming and the storytelling and the queue, and as I've said in my review when we talked about it on the show, and as I wrote in my review that it's on my website, it's this whole experience of riding Hagrid's that makes it so amazing. And so that is why it's in my top 15. It's just so good. It's it's just so good. That's probably my most controversial take in my top
Hmm.
25.
Yeah. So our next award is one that's probably a really tough decision, I'd say. Wouldn't you
Yeah,
agree?
this is like we have had some. I've had like these moments where I'm going, and I'm just over here like moaning and trying to figure this out. This is
Yeah,
the hardest one, and that
easily.
is the coolest 5'3" blonde girl that's gonna slap Jack in the face. And this was submitted by my good friend Sarah, who, as many of you know, beat me to 1,000 followers. Do you remember what we wagered on that again? I can't remember honestly.
I mean, if only it was like in the name of the award, but
Is it? Did we? Oh, you're right. Yeah, Sarah, you win this one.
yeah, I think it was a tough decision, but I'm gonna have to go Sarah as well.
I mean, I thought about putting Marcus down because he is kind of like a blonde little girl sometimes, but
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. He doesn't get to slap me. Sarah does, so that I think that's the kicker. So
That's really the one that pushed it over the edge.
Sarah, there are no like physical awards for this, but I will make you like a little like trophy or something that says Twisted Traveler Award. Um, You shut up. Stop it. Stop.
That's what I'm
No.
putting. That's my. Hey, this is my award. This is the one I give.
Fine. Yeah, Sarah, I'll make you a little trophy or something that I'll give you right before you slap me, which we're working on times, people. It's gonna happen in the next 3 or 4 months. It will happen. So get ready for it. Okay, Chris.
All right. Next up, we have the hottest take award. Jack, let's let you answer first.
I mean, I'm gonna say myself. Person with the hottest takes award. Have you seen my website, people? If you haven't, you need to, because one, all of my pictures that I've, most of the pictures, actually, sorry, every picture that I've ever posted on social media is on there, plus probably about 1,000 you haven't seen, as well as my blog, so go check that out. But I mean, if you just go to the homepage right now, and you just scroll down a bit, you're going to see this giant placard that says "Person with the Hottest Takes 2020 winner, the Drunk Riders Award," because I was the winner of this year's Person with the Hottest Takes award from the Drunk Riders. So, yeah, I win this one. There's no contest. Like, all of my takes are hot. The one Chris is about to talk about is hot. My Still Vengeance take is hot. My El Toro take is hot. Heck, everything is hot. It's all hot. I win. End of discussion. Where's my trophy? Oh, it's still in
No.
the shop. Okay.
So mine is Jack's spaghetti take. Everybody kind of ripped into him on Twitter for this. Jack doesn't like spaghetti. He also doesn't like pizza. So
Chris, I will post that picture of you eating a donut.
do I care? I don't actually. You can if you want.
Oh, it's happening. I am posting it right now on my Instagram feed. Yes. I'll post it later. So, okay, that was all of our listener awards. So, again, thank y'all for submitting them.
That last one was from Bryant from Coaster 365. Just
Yes.
shout out him.
Yes, of course. Yeah, so now we're getting into the ones we pick. These are probably going to be harder decisions because I think we are going to try to just pick one. But
I put mine on. You can argue it if you want.
see, okay, so first award we're going to do is Prettiest Park. We did this one last year on our season 0 test episode, and I think this is such a hard decision because for me, I'm thinking about it as a photographer, and by far the easiest park to shoot is Cedar Point, but that doesn't win. The prettiest park for me, it's gonna come down to either Silver Dollar City or Knott's Berry Farm. It's one of those two, which coincidentally are two of my favorite parks as well. Mm-hmm. Knott's Berry Farm is definitely the easier park to take pictures of. Silver Dollar City is definitely the more natural park.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm going to give it to Knott's Berry Farm, primarily because of Ghost Town.
Okay.
Silver Dollar City is great, and I love it, but it doesn't have the charm and the, there's something about Ghost Town. So, I'm going to give it to Knott's Berry Farm for me.
SDC is in my top two as well, Silver Dollar City. And then I also would say Busch Gardens Williamsburg is up there too, because that also has a very natural look like Silver Dollar City, but you can see the rides more openly. I think you'd really like that park because you've got all the nature and there's spots to get pictures.
Yeah, and I have a bunch of people that have told me that's one of the best parks for all of it, and hopefully next year. But for now, I'm going to give it to Knott just because of Ghost Town. Ghost Town is just, there's something about walking through that, and it's like, oh, this is super pretty and awesome all at once. So
Yeah.
Next up is another prettiest, and this one is the prettiest roller coaster. So, again, these are tough. These are kind of questions I came up with because these are the photographer questions, but I always enjoy hearing what you think.
Okay,
What's your pick for prettiest roller coaster?
so I have two. One of them being Kumba at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Uh, it's got the color scheme, and then the train, the bright yellow train, pops really well with that. It's got those iconic spots, the corkscrew. The way it just interacts with its area is really awesome. And then my second answer is simply because it's probably the best color scheme I've seen, or in my opinion, and that is Patriot at Worlds of Fun. It doesn't really have that much around it that makes it pretty. It's just like really good color combination.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'll give Patriot an honorable mention for me. It's not my favorite. This is almost for me as much as it's the prettiest roller question. This is the what is my favorite ride to take pictures of question.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote down a little list. I'm gonna add a couple more to this list. So some of my like nominees, I guess you could say would be Orion at Kings Island, Railblazer at CGA, Copperhead Strike at Carowinds, Wildfire at Silver Dollar City, Hulk at Islands of Adventure. They're all rides that are super open and easy to take pictures of, but no matter how many pictures I take of them, they never get old.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a hard question, but I'm going to stick with what I said last year and give it the Copperhead Strike at Carowinds because it has some of the prettiest trains you will ever see and it has one of the prettiest color schemes you will ever see and it by far is one of the easiest rides you will ever take pictures of because like to get into the ride's queue you have to like walk through the middle of the ride practically. So,
Yeah,
I'm going
I
to
think
give it to Go ahead.
one ride you'll like taking pictures of is New Texas Giant because you have to kind of walk through its layout too through the queue. I think you'd really like taking pictures of that when you go eventually.
Yeah, I think that will be another ride I really enjoy, but I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be hard to top Copperhead. It's so good.
Yeah.
So okay, this next one I'll let you talk about it because I think yours is the. I think yeah.
Okay. Best new credit of 2020. This isn't rides that opened in 2020. This is just new coasters we wrote. We already talked about this ride a little bit. It won another award earlier, and that is Skyrush for me. Like we said, absolutely ridiculous, crazy intense. First drop is ridiculous. Twisted Airtime Hill, amazing. It's too good, honestly. Whenever I think about this ride, I just get way too excited. Like it is. I don't understand how it's as good as it is.
That's pretty accurate. It's an amazing ride, and it would definitely take the spot for me if I hadn't already ridden it. So I had two rides that are neck and neck for winning this. So the runner up for me is Phantom's Revenge at Kennywood at number 7 overall. And the winner is Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City at number 6. With a ride I've been looking forward to riding for a very long time, and it did not disappoint. So Time Traveler wins for me. It's a great ride. That's we could probably do a whole episode just talking about Time Traveler, and y'all would be bored to death, but we would really enjoy it. So
We could also do a whole episode talking about Skyrush.
also true. We could probably do a whole episode talking about every roller coaster in our top tens.
I mean, we basically did a whole episode talking about a coaster that we like doesn't even exist yet at Dorney Park.
Whew, that episode. We're not gonna. Let's move on from that. That was a. What was it like? 30-minute tangent.
Yeah.
That was nuts. Okay. Oh, I'm dreading this question.
I'm interested to see your answer.
We're talking best dark ride. So best dark ride overall. We're gonna keep it the ones we've ridden. Oh. 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 This is tough. So the rides that immediately come to mind are Spider-Man, Forbidden Journey, Smuggler's Run, Guardians of the Galaxy, Mission Breakout. Those are probably the four, or in Radiator Springs Racers. Those are
Okay,
the five.
real quick. Are you like, so we are considering, oh, what's it called? Smuggler's Run to be a dark ride.
Yes, I'm calling that a dark ride. I'm
Okay,
pretty
then
much
that
saying-
changes my answer.
Oh. I'm going with Radiator Springs Racers.
I respect that answer. I haven't done it, but it looks very good.
It's such again, nostalgia reasons for me, but the ride experience is phenomenal. So,
Right.
but all of those rides are great. If you said hey, you can go ride this right now, I would ride any of those in a heartbeat.
Okay. So for me, since we are considering Smuggler's Run a dark ride, I'd say that you could consider my answer a dark ride as well.
Yeah,
And that
that's
is
fair.
Flight of Passage at Disney's Animal Kingdom. If we're not counting it, it would be Spider-Man. But Flight of Passage, it's amazing, excellent theming. It really does feel like you're transported to another world. I mean, when I first rode it, it was the original year it opened, and I got goosebumps like the whole time. They've dumbed it down a little bit now. It's not like some of the effects aren't as crazy. They don't do it as much, but it still gives me goosebumps from time to time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to riding that. Now, I will say we're going to give the honorable mention to this, to a ride neither of us have ridden, and that's going to Rise of the Resistance. I have a feeling
Also
once we ride that, it will be it will win this award. But yeah,
Journey to the Center of the Earth also needs an honorable mention, I think.
yes, I think that's another good one. So,
All right, next up, best flat ride.
okay, you go first so I can drop my hot take.
Mine's pretty easy, and that's Falcon's Fury at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Easily the best drop tower I've done. It's better than the butterfly feeling you get on a normal drop tower, facing down like that. It feels like you're flying almost. You're crazy high up. Like I really love that ride.
Yeah, that's a fair answer. I'm gonna let my dad try and guess. I'm gonna see if he knows that because I don't. There's no. I'll let you try too, Chris. Let's see if either of you can get it.
Gotta think real quick. Drop line.
Nope.
Okay.
No, Dad.
Hold on. I have an answer on like the tip of my tongue.
So I will say this. I wrote it in 2018.
I don't know. I don't know. You can answer.
I'm gonna let my dad have one more shot. I want to see if he
Okay.
can figure it out. He's typing. He's typing. He's typing. You got the perk right, Dad, but not the ride. It is Nightmares at Canada's Wonderland, which is a stand-up Huss Enterprise.
Okay.
Hot take, I know. That's probably my favorite ride at that park, too. It literally is a stand-up Enterprise, and it's so weird, and I love it. It's so good. I love that ride to death. We closed the park. I think we rode that ride more than we did anything else at that park, and we did last ride of the night on it. That's how much I loved it.
Sounds good. Like I need to do that.
It's fantastic. It's so good. I love that ride a lot, way too much. Okay, the final category, and this is best new ride of 2020. So, first off, this is American rides. We're only gonna talk about rides that are in America. So the four that opened, or the four big ones that you got, were West Coast Racers, technically, Texas Stingray, Orion, and Candemonium. Those are the four that opened in the U.S. this year that are noteworthy. Of those four, I got to ride two. Chris got to ride one, so that narrows Chris's decision down pretty easy. And mine as well, if you listen to our episode about Hershey. So, Chris, what is yours?
Candemonium at Hershey Park, my second favorite B&M Hyper. It's better than Diamondback. I'm going to say that. Not as good as Mako. Airtime's not as strong as Mako, but it is very strong. That little outward bank is very good. The speed hill is good. The first hill is good. The drop is good. Just a very, very solid coaster.
Yeah, so as I talked about with the Hershey episode, I was expecting just below or at Mako level of awesomeness, and it completely and utterly disappointed me in that, and it is nowhere near my favorite B&M Hyper. It is nowhere near being, I think, in my third or fourth place B&M Hyper, just because I was extremely disappointed in the ride experience it gave me. Which leaves the ride that blew me away because I was expecting it to be not as good as a lot of other B&Ms, and it's Orion at Kings Island. I think we all slept on this ride so much because of the whole not being as big or as tall or as fast as we wanted it to, and so when we actually rode it, it surprised me in a really good way because I was like, oh, this is better than I expected it to be. So that's why Orion wins for me. And like I said earlier, really pretty coaster. Sorry, Hershey, it's got better theming than Candemonium. Yeah, Orion wins for me. I would make a strong case for it winning overall best new ride this year. But that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't ridden Orion, and I could definitely see it beating Candy. But it by default is Candy for me, and I'm cool with that being my answer because I did really enjoy it.
Yep, so, yeah, Orion, Candemonium. So, that's it for Twisted Traveler Awards this year. We're going to try to do this, I think, every single year right around Christmas. It'll be one of the last things we do before we take our, off-season break. Mm-hmm. So next year we'll have this list saved. It's on our Google Drive. We'll be able to come back and look at it. We'll try to do all the same awards that we chose every year, and we're also going to, of course, ask fans to do stuff every year. So
of course, yep. Looking forward to next year's already.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Next year's will probably be much more intensive for best new ride of 2021 because hopefully we will both A, have ridden a lot more of them, and B, I think the competition is going to be a lot stiffer next year.
I mean, there's three that are going to be in tight competition off the top of my head. So
the two in Florida they're going to duke it out all year long. I think that's going to be one of the most interesting things to see.
And then you got Pantheon.
So, real quick though, before you turn us off, announcements. We have 2 episodes left after this. Next week we've got Bryant from Coaster 365 who's going to be joining us to talk all about his Twitter page. And then we're also just going to talk about a bunch of random roller coasters because that's what we do around here. And the week after that, we have the season 1 recap, which will be the final episode of our first season. So, yeah, we're getting there. It's kind of weird that it's almost the end of our first season, but we're getting there. So,
yeah.
And then the one other thing we're asking if y'all would please do is take it shouldn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes to quickly fill out a survey about this season. It's pretty much asking, what did you like, what didn't you like, what do you want to see us do next year, who do you want to see us have on the podcast, and then there's a couple of other just random questions about some like housekeeping ideas and random stuff that we've spitballed around and what your guys' opinion on. So this is your chance to influence what season 2 is going to look like. We're also going to leave a place in the survey to where if you want to leave an email address or like a Twitter or Instagram place where we can DM you if you've got more ideas you want to send us, because we are going to keep the text box space limited. But if you want to like really dive in, you have like a great idea that you want to send us, send it our way. We want new ideas. We want this thing to grow and we want it to be awesome. So
we are always open to ideas.
Yeah.
And our very last thing is our social media plugs real quick. On Instagram, follow us at twisted_travelers. And on Twitter, follow us at twistedtraveler, but the R is a 1. The R at the end is a 1. And I think that's it.
Yeah. That was one of our first episodes in a while that was under an hour. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, good job us.
Woohoo! The Twisted Traveler Award for most likely to do a podcast in under an hour goes to Jack and Chris on the 22nd of December, 2020.
All right, well, I think that's it. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Twisted Travelers Podcast.